We also had a gauntlet match that went for over 20 minutes to decide the number one contender for the Women's Intercontinental title. That match is going to be taking place next week. Bayley is getting a championship match. She's not winning a championship, but she is getting a championship match next week. And we had Penta's first defense of his Intercontinental title against El Grande Americano. Still stuck in the Americano vortex. I feel like I have been watching some variation of this match now for almost a year. This is ridiculous. It has to stop. Like, it just has to come to an end. At some point, like, what are we doing here? Is there no one else in the mid-card on Monday Night Raw for this man to fight with? Please, I beg of you. The surplus of talent they have in this company, and I just feel like I'm watching the same matches over and over again, only now Penta has a belt. The fun segment was strong. Like I said, the Judgment Day angle was very simple but effective. The rest of the show, it just felt like it was there. Yeah, the rest of the show was just there. I'm still waiting for it to really, I mean, outside of the Punk and Roman stuff, I'm still waiting for it to feel like WrestleMania, but I still don't get that feeling yet. We're about 6 weeks away. And next week we get the Reigns show. His open challenge that we know maybe things will start to feel a little bit different at that point. But for tonight, it was a mixed bag. There's some stuff to, I think, like and to as we head into Las Vegas in a few weeks. This is your Raw Netflix review. It is Monday night. It is March 9th, 2026. I am Solid Monster. I thank you for joining me here on a Monday night. Like and subscribe, super chats, and you will see them popping up on your screen. Get rich. Oh my God, this is
oh, hey, that's
I'll go anywhere you want. Let's see what you got.
because masked men opened the barricade and they're standing at ringside, and particularly benefiting all of these masked men running out to the ring. The crowd starts to chant
Push it to the limit. Oh, easy boy.
Can you keep going?
I don't think Seth Rollins is too worried about it. Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Austin's been issuing challenges for boxing matches and then ducking said challenges. I'll talk about that. Theory, they come down to the ring without Paul David. He's stopped last week. So he was out of stuff. So they got him on the apron. Rollins put his mask on. That's the most ridiculous part of all this. And all the other masked men.
That looks like a good place to set up camp.
And they all. And then they all pray. This masked man, he is. They will finish. They will it's like that's what they it's ridiculous. So now they know the music hits because of course it does. The Vision is out there. Now late night segment to show them the Vision is involved. So now late night comes great to find the Vision. Stop me if you've heard this before. I feel like you've heard me say that many times over the last 9 months. He's back out there to fight the Vision. And the heels got the better of him until Sheamus' music hits. And so Jimmy and Jay Theory from the ring. He has the smoke bomb thing. So they can make their great escape. That's what they should smoke bomb down. And they take you back to 2020, a very famous rant that I had here on one of these streams about ninjas. We went through a period of time about 5 or 6 years ago in WWE, if you weren't around back then, on these streams, where they had, Vince McMahon had an obsession with ninjas. He sort of movie. I don't know if it was the Ninja Turtle movie, but he saw some sort of
Found that.
Mama, you got.
I've got some suggestions if you're open to them. Hey,
Fucking bitch.
anything catch your eye? What are we making today?
I do.
Ready to get to work? Look good? Alrighty, perfection. Ready to get to work? Alrighty, perfection. Look good? Alrighty. Perfection. Anything catch your eye? Look good? Alright. Perfection. I'm ready to work. Oh, perfection. Look good? All right. Perfection. Ready to get to work? Oh, perfection. Look good? Alrighty. Perfection. Got something in mind? Now that's a good choice. Okay.
Special event! Get the news here!
Let's get started. You got it. Don't be shy now. Let's get started. Come anytime you need something.
Catch the latest news here!
Want to take a little break to handle this?
Check back in every meow and again.
So, what you need today? Glad I stocked up on that. You got good taste. Selection's not bad, huh? All yours. Take care up there.
Sorry, that must honestly harsh. If it wasn't for chicken.
Hunt. I know. You know,
It has lost all meaning and all value. I'm sorry. This is the group against Chant. Unbelievable. So then they got into the ring, and I'm watching this, and they start jumping around. It's like, I think Michael Coleman made a comment about this, like the shell game, you know, where you're I know the shell game from watching the larger version of The Price is Right back in the day. That's when I first saw the shell game. I don't know if Carrie still does it on the modern version of the show. That was always one of my favorite games, right? Is the ball under? You got to figure it out. That's what they were doing. They were jumping back and forth. They were doing some sort of like jazzercise workout. I don't know what the fuck people do. It was ridiculous. Is that Seth Rollins here? He was one of the mess, man. But they were trying to confuse. Why did we try to confuse us? Why did we try to confuse Adam Pearce? I have no idea. But there he was. Right, we found the masked man who was Seth Rollins. He pulled the mask off. It was Seth, and he got a big pump. I'm not sure why any of this was necessary. And Adam so he's in there. We have that in common. Anytime you ever see the he said Rollins, you're medically cleared. Division. After he gets on Seth Rollins, gets probably very straight and taking out Seth Rollins. Right, Seth Rollins and Razor. I think Seth Rollins is very good. And then Dougie said challenge.
Now's our chance. I can't take it. I can't take it. No more ninjas. So we get ninjas back on the show to the Seth Rollins now has a band of ninjas. I mean, this is going to be his adventure going forward. So anyway, the Usos, they clear Austin Theory from the ring. Yes, Omos was a ninja. I do remember that. Yes, he was one of them. Omos was a ninja. So, they set up Logan Paul for a 1D. Theory pulls him out to the floor to safety. And then, of course, Jay tells the music man, you gotta run it back. So they play his music, and he eats, and everyone is eating, and then they play their music for me all very time. made it to commercial. The Seth Rollins stuff, it looked like something out of an episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Okay? It was completely ridiculous. And whatever the idea was behind it, they need to stop. They need to stop. Okay, he's back now. I don't know when he'll be medically cleared, but he's back. And the ninja stuff, you gotta wind that down. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit if these idiots are chanting holy shit or not. Like, you gotta end this. It's just ridiculous. Like, I can't take him seriously. If this is gonna be his new gimmick, I can't do it. I just can't do it. So after a commercial break, Jackie Redmond. He's thinking this stuff. Like, what the fuck? He's thinking this stuff. Like, what the fuck? If Retribution 2.0. Because Retribution 1.0 was so good. Yes, we need the putties. Yes, that's what they were. The Power Rangers putties. Seth Rollins has his own band of putties on this show. I think the people who write these shows, I think their brain is made of putty. Is what I'm starting to think. Jackie Redmond was in the back. She caught up with the Usos, who said that they got receipts to hand out. And she also asked Jay about CM Punk's comments last week to Roman Reigns. She's an instigator. And Jay said, I got nothing to say to CM Punk. But then Jimmy told him, hold up. He says, maybe we do have something to say. So we didn't see them again until the closing segment, which was very interesting because Jay is the one who was blowing it off like, yeah, we got nothing to say. He was going to go leave. And Jimmy is the one who stopped him and said, actually, I think we actually might have something to say. But if you watch the closing segment, it was Jay who was all fired up, and Jimmy was the calm one. It's kind of interesting. So after this, they began the gauntlet match. And this was first shot at the Women's Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee will be on the show in San Antonio next week defending her title, but who would it be against? Well, we're going to find out here, because the gauntlet match, you know how a gauntlet works. We start with 2, and then we just keep going until all the members of the gauntlet have come out. And how their order of entry is decided, we were never told. It was kept a secret. Maybe they left it with the ninjas. But we started with Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky. So Io countered out of a Nightwing attempt late in this fall into a standing double stomp right to the guts. And she headed up top, she hit her over the moonsault, and she pinned Lyra to advance. And the time that they were in there, I mean, they spent the first few minutes of the match in there together, you know, whatever, the wrestling was solid. But she hits the moonsault and she eliminates Lyra. There's no rest for the weary, though, because number 2 into the gauntlet, Raquel Rodriguez. Io tried her suicide dive, a crazy dive she does out through the ropes, and Raquel caught her. Io worked out of it though, ended up getting taken down on the floor with a clothesline. So Raquel put her back in the ring, and she caught her with the corkscrew Vader elbow, as Michael Cole called it, only got a 2 count. Then she caught Io with a shoulder tackle that was actually more like a pounce. I mean, she pounced this woman halfway across the ring, and she pounced them right into the commercial break. So later on, there was a missile drop kick that knocked Raquel down. We got the bullet train knees in the corner by Io. She heads up top. She's about to finish things off again. Then Morgan comes out, and she runs distraction here. But then we get a burst of pyro, and here comes the women's world champion, Stephanie McCare, to fight her off, and off they go. So that distraction, though, was enough for Io to catch Raquel with an inside cradle, and she eliminates Raquel right around the 10-minute mark here in this match. And that will not sit well, I would imagine, between Raquel and Liv. She reacted to this about as well as you would expect. She goes right after Io. She boots her out over the top rope to the floor. Then she long darts her into the ring post, and then, or the ring post casing. And then to the target on the apron. So now Io is dead. She is lying dead outside on the floor. Here comes Lightning Knight. She runs down to the ring. She doesn't waste any time. She runs outside. Io eliminates Io Sky. I've ever seen her. It's like flips her biceps and everything. So that's the elimination.
Let's go.
I'm sure it's not going to lead to anything, but I thought ID9 would come. ID9 actually got to move an Iggy for the late vertical supervise. There she had some time to go on the spring of offense, and she has put a ring on this show as we've probably ever seen her. She doesn't get a lot of time on the show to begin with. I just wish she was there. Anybody have the best show? Right now, it's not really severe. Last week's section. So some of their communicator, Frank Roman was not on the show, AJ Lee was not on the show, Brock Lesnar was not on the show. You think that they would let you know that the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk, was going to be on the show, and there was no mention of Punk anywhere in the preview. It was just very odd to me, because I remember looking at the preview going, this can't be it. And there was no mention of Punk, but they indicated he would be here later on in the show. I don't know why you wouldn't advertise that, but that's what they did. So after a commercial break, they aired the very end, the highlights, the very end of the promo that Natty did during the commercial break. She was being interviewed by Byron Saxton on the stage. And at the very end of her promo, she mentioned Maxine the Great by name, and she got blasted by Maxine. And that was it. Then it was backstage where OG Americano was walking. He was confronted by Danhausen, who played a pivotal role last week, if you remember, before the IC title match on last week's show. And Danhausen noticed that Americano wore a mask, and he had a great idea. He could wear a mask also. And then he wanted to try Gable's on, and Gable told him, rule numero uno, you don't touch a luchador's mask, he says. He has no time for this because he has a championship match coming up next. So he told Danhausen to leave. And Danhausen said, you want me to leave? You want Danhausen to put a curse on you?
What are we making?
So Danhausen to put the curse on him. And then, of course, Gable turned, and when he turned back, Danhausen was gone. So basically, Danhausen has become the resident steward of the show. That is now his role here on WWE television. If he curses you right before a match, you already know the outcome before the match even happens. Only in this case, he never even made it out to the ring. We were supposed to get Penta defending the Intercontinental Championship for the first time ever. It was over Dom last week against OG Americano. And that was the scheduled match. Didn't work out that way. Thankfully, they gave Penta some more long time. I was kind of hoping they would do this. You know, he won the title last week, and I saw that video. I don't know if it was from this past week or if maybe the video was a couple weeks old. The video of him meeting that little kid in the Penta mask backstage at one of the events. That was a really cool video. Like when he shows up, and you see, and the kid turns and realizes that the real Penta is there, and that he literally gasps. This kid's got to be like 4 or 5 years old, and he gasps like he's in awe. He can't believe it. And then, you know, Penta's talking to him, and it's like it's really, really cool. So anyway, I was hoping they would make, you know, a bigger deal about this by letting him get some promo time. Because I remember when he first joined the company, I think his first night, and he beat Chad Gable, funny enough.
And then he got to cut a promo in the ring. You know, I'm like, man, it's a really good promo. Obviously, you know, English is not his first language, but you know, he can speak it, and he just resonates with the audience in a way that not everybody does. He's obviously very charismatic. He's got this physical charisma about him, and this energy and this intensity about him. The people just like him. And so I'm like, he won the championship. We should hear from him. So he takes the mic, and he thanks his family. He thanks his friends, all of his fans around the world. Thanks to everyone who believed in him, and he thanked himself like a heel, because he believes in himself every single day. So of course, I thank myself every single day too. So, because this title is not just for Penta, it's for everyone who never gives up, because Penta, well, then John Cena's not included. There she is. I was wondering, very upset about her loss earlier. She's calling for Kyrie. It's Asuka Jeremy Rose. Thank you, sir. So anyway, John Cena is not included in this because he is sending this out to all the people out there who never give up. Says Penta represents all of those people. The dreamers. The real-life fighters. This title is the result of a lot of hard work. It's the result of a lot of sacrifice. And now, and together, we will make history, because now he is here as your new Intercontinental Champion. And then he spoke in Spanish, and he did his catchphrase, so this was very good. He should have fucking thanked Danhausen, is who he should have thanked. Of all the people he thanked here in this promo, he didn't thank the one guy who actually helped him win the championship more than any other. Where was the thank you for Danhausen in all this?
You know.
So out comes El Grande. But it is, and not just because of the music, you just look at him and you know, it's very clear, this is not the OG. This is El Grande Kaiser coming to the ring, and Penta realized it as well. He was complaining to the referee about it, and they went to commercial. So when they came back, they joined the match, already in progress. Michael Coulson, the original El Grande Americano, was scheduled, but he didn't know what happened to him. And then ahead of another break, Penta had teased him time for ropes, but as he went to go through the ropes, he got blasted in the face with a forearm shot. So he tumbled out of the ring, he, hit the apron and went to the floor, and it didn't look like anything out of the ordinary in terms of the bump that he took. He was immediately grabbing his lower back. So Kaiser goes over to go, clearly he was trying to pick him, and to communicated something to him like he might be hurt. So Kaiser left him alone. And they took the camera off Penta. The camera followed Kaiser around to where the little podium on the IC title on it. And he's posing next to it, like everybody poses next to the Andre the Giant Braille statue. And they went to a commercial. And I'm just thinking, man, I really hope he's not hurt. They can ill afford another one of these injuries right now. But boy, would that suck. Thankfully, when they came back, Penta seemed okay. Maybe he just tweaked it. So Americano came off real late in the match. Penta caught him with a code breaker. And he followed that with a Mexican destroyer win to retain the championship. Now, I want to just say this first. This is not a knock on Penta. I love Penta. This is not a knock on Kaiser. I think he's very talented. I think the gimmick works very well for him, more so in AAA than it does here in the States on the main roster. Why am I still watching Penta? El Grande Americano in March of 2026, because this man has been stuck in the Americano vortex for months. If you go back before the Americano bullshit, and you go back to when Penta first debuted at the beginning of last year, he wrestled in his first match. And then he had matches with Ludwig Kaiser when he was still Ludwig Kaiser. Watching already wrestling game and wrestling every single individual. In the main card of the show,
As far as next week, it's an American beyond this.
Sorry for the
elevate that time with dominance and the time did it was which I'm doing. So now it's right there.
real wild ride.
Always takes the easy way.
Let's get after it.
It was Danhausen's fault. Because no, it was Finn Balor's fault. He didn't want to do this out here. He wanted to do it privately, but Balor was making him air their dirty laundry out front. Finn Balor.
Almost there. Stay sharp.
The next team was made more sense. Right now.
Lay it out. Sorry for monsters to cross you.
And Dom high faced him. Balor then delivered an overhead LA kick. Reminded me of when he turned heel many years ago in NXT. The kick in the head was Johnny Gargano. Like, he's not even looking at Gargano. And then he just kind of up and delivers this overhead kick. Kicks, I think it was Johnny, right in the head. So that's what he did here. McDonough then got Balor in the corner. He's trying to talk to him. As Dom comes in, Balor takes him down with a sling blade. So he backs up into the corner. He's setting up for that shotgun drop kick that he does. As Balor comes in, though, JD McDonough takes his head off and slows him down. And they all look at each other, and Liv Morgan just pounces Balor, and she's throw pushes at him. And then Raquel joins in as she starts kicking Balor. And then McDonough and Dom, they start moving next. Then it becomes very clear that this is the big angle that we've been waiting for so long for, right? How long have we been waiting and speculating on when something like this was going to happen? So they're all putting the boots to him. Dom goes to retrieve a steel chair and the ring bell hammer from outside. He brings it inside. Balor starts to fight back. Dom, though, smashes him right in the face with the hammer. Then he shoved the hammer into his sneaker. And McDonough sets Balor up in the ropes
What do you say to
in
some
position
cake?
for a 619. And Dom delivers a 619, sending the hammer once again into Balor's face. So then they position Balor near the corner, and Dom goes up top, and he delivers a...
This one's a personal fave.
So then Dom picks up the chair and he hands it to JD, who drives it down numerous times into Balor's midsection. And then he lays it flat across Balor's chest, and Dom comes off the top with one more frog splash for good measure. And the remaining members of the Judgment Day are all celebrating in the ring together as Finn Balor lays there dead. Finally, we got some real movement with the Judgment Day. And now we can begin to build to Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, or some variation of that. Again, potentially, maybe even involving JD McDonough, but probably Balor and Dom one-on-one at WrestleMania. My guess is we get Balor and Dom, and Balor is going to enter as the Demon, because they'll think bringing back the Demon is going to be a big deal, and they can make money off the Demon. That's probably what we'll end up getting at WrestleMania. Finn Balor is now back to being a babyface. Now, we shouldn't be surprised by this, because not just because we're heading into WrestleMania, but because the stuff with CM Punk is what set this up. He had the match at Belfast.
Got something in mind?
They had a good match. When it was over, right, they kind of paid respect to each other. That bothered Liv Morgan. What are you doing, palling around and listening to CM Punk? CM Punk was trying to tell Balor, look, you don't need these guys. You don't need these idiots. And that didn't make Liv Morgan very happy. So then Balor, of course, he attacked Punk again after that. That's when we got the rematch at Elimination Chamber. And the same thing, when the match was over, Balor lost. And
Now that's a good choice.
and show respect to one another. So the seeds were already being planted for this to happen, right? The Balor babyface turn. We could see this coming for at least a couple of months now. So it's a very simple angle. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen these types of angles before. It was simple, but it was effective, and it gets us now to where we need to be. And I guess the question now is, as far as the future of the Judgment Day is concerned, do they end up adding a new member? I don't think they're going to end the Judgment Day anytime soon. I mean, I thought about, would they, because Balor's out, Raquel, it feels like she's not long for the Judgment Day, and then you're down to Liv, and Dom, and JD. I don't think they want to end the Judgment Day, and I'm not sure if I were them, I would want to end the Judgment Day either, because it's weird. Like, as tiresome as it sometimes feels, the Judgment Day has actually been... And we know how effective the Bloodline was, right? It's shining a light on Jey Uso, Sami Zayn when he was part of the group, and introducing Solo Sikoa, right? It was a very important faction as far as character building and getting other people over other than just Roman Reigns. That was the family. The Judgment Day has introduced us to a lot of new personalities as well. And the Judgment Day is what really helped Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and it put Finn Balor in a position where he could be featured in a way that he wasn't being featured. And then Liv Morgan eventually went from Rhea and Dom to Dom and Liv, and it has been very effective at getting certain people screen time and getting them over in a way that, frankly, they would not have been able to get over on their own. JD McDonough would not be in the position he's in right now. Yeah, and again, I'm not making it sound like he's a main eventer, but even just the position that he's in,
He would not be in that position right now if it wasn't for him being a part of the Judgment Day. Raquel Rodriguez, remember when Raquel was a babyface? And she was coming out on TV and her big thing was smile for the camera and then flex your back. Right? Flex your back. Show your back muscles, and that's all she was. What am I supposed to cheer for? What am I supposed to get behind there? Plain Jane. As she goes heel, she joins the Judgment Day. And the thing with the Judgment Day is they get so many segments on this show every single week. Multiple segments. So I would probably just cycle in and out new members and try to do the same thing with some other people that they've done with people like the ones I just mentioned. And try to help get them over. I even said, and I don't know if this, I don't think this is what they have in mind, but even someone like Danhausen, you know? Like, I could see Danhausen even being loosely affiliated with the Judgment Day. I guess right now he's doing his own thing, going from show to show, but, you know, I think you just gotta look at the roster and look at some